5 signs you'll never be a pro footballer, so make sure if you're doing these things, you are reversing them, changing them, or if you're not, that you avoid these things at all costs. That's coming up next. Want to win a jersey of your favorite Ligue 1 player? Of course you do. Well, OneFootball has teamed up with Ligue 1 to give you that opportunity. In order to have a chance to win, all you have to do is go down to the description, fill out the competition form, make sure you have OneFootball downloaded, which you can do now if you don't already, and then just predict who you think is going to win Ligue 1. Right now, it's a very tight race at the top, and there are many teams that can win it, so predict who you think is going to win while filling out that form, and also make sure you have the OneFootball app downloaded, and you are entered for a chance to win your favorite player's jersey. Let's get into the rest of the video. Guys, as I am recording this, the Standout Footballer bundle is still going on. Only a few more days left. To find out more info, check out the description, but you're gonna be able to get 4 products, training programs for the price, actually less than the price of one. So if you want more info, more details, go check out the link down below. Now, before I get into the first one here, remember, I am not here to discourage you, make you feel bad or anything else. I'm just trying to give you some of the pitfalls and some of the things that hold players back from making it to higher levels. So this is just for awareness, so you can avoid these things or change them if you find you're doing them. That being said, let's get into the very first one, starting with number 5. Number 5 is arrogance. Now, this is much different than confidence. So many players, when I made a larger version of this video, went, well, Zlatan is arrogant, Ronaldo's arrogant. No, they're not. They are confident. They might, by your definition of arrogance, be arrogant, but they are not. They are confident, and they have a right to be confident. They put in the work to be confident. An arrogant player is that player who thinks they're the best or one of the best despite not putting in the work. They haven't done anything to earn the position of being that good of a player, yet they brag about being it. They're big-headed about it, and we've all met players like this. Zlatan, on the other hand, is one of the best, and therefore states it as a fact, obviously. Ronaldo is the same way. Many of the best players do this because it is a part of their identity that they have earned. They have worked their way to doing that, and they are congruent with this message. That is not arrogance. It might come off as arrogant to some people, but it's not. It is confidence in their ability. So understand the difference and look to cultivate confidence, not arrogance. Confidence is hardworking. Arrogance is usually lazy and entitled. Entitled is the operative word, but make sure you know the difference and avoid being arrogant. Number 4 is being average and not standing out. A lot of players go through the motions in matches and in their training and only get a little bit better instead of, going that extra mile. If you really want to stand out, move up levels, get to the pro game even, you need to be standing out at the levels you're at now. Again, I have the Standout bundle going on right now that's going to help you do that. If you're watching this in the first few days of this video being released, it's still happening, so go check it out. If not, you got to do other things to work on this, because again, I interviewed my friend David Rowley, who's a pro, and he said most players are not standing out, and it's hurting them at trials, it's hurting them at combines, camps, their regular matches, and you need to stand out. If you're just an average player, guess what? You're not gonna make it to those levels. And standing out is as much a mentality as also ability. You need both, but it's something that can be worked on, and again, you need to be doing that to get to these higher levels. Number 3 is crucial, and it's not mastering the fundamentals and continually working on them. Even the pros who have mastered, they are the best in the world at the fundamentals of the game, still work on them pretty much every single day. And if your fundamentals aren't all there yet, you need to be working on them heavily, because when you get higher and higher and higher in the game, what you'll find is a lot of the players that much better at the fundamentals. The fundamentals get faster, they get crisper, they get cleaner. There's less mistakes made with the fundamentals. They're more creative with the fundamentals. Everything branches out, especially with the ball, from the fundamentals. Be working on these things in your training often. Never neglect them. Never think they're unnecessary. Never think you're done with them. You can always improve this area. And this is something that high-level players know, work on all the time, and gain that, they go in for that level of mastery. And even when they're at that level of mastery, they don't stop. They keep trying to improve it, even if it's by 1 degree. So keep that in mind. You gotta master those fundamentals. And if you're not, you're not gonna get anywhere near the pro game, even the collegiate game, semi-pro. You need to have those fundamentals at a really good level. Number 2 is obvious, but it has to be in here, and it's lack of discipline. If you are not disciplined, if you do not have a plan with your training, you're not disciplined with your eating, with your time management, well, then you can forget about getting to the higher levels, whether that's semi-pro, whether that's at a good university college route, whether that's at the pro game at any level. There is going to be an element of discipline involved. I mean, actually, the higher level, you're gonna have even more discipline. You're gonna need to be eating right and at the right times, working out consistently and doing the right workouts, getting up at times maybe you don't wanna get up, but also being disciplined with your recovery, rest. There's so much that goes into this. Remember, there's less than 1% of all footballers that make it to these higher levels, to the pro level at all. Even if you're thinking lower level pro levels, it's less than 1% of players. And therefore you need to be more disciplined than 99, like 0.9 essentially percent of players. You need to be doing the right things. You need to be committing your life essentially if that's where you want to get to. So remember, discipline is so important. Getting the workouts in, working on the mental side, getting your nutrition right, your sleep, your recovery, all of it comes together to make you the player that you are, which will ultimately determine if you're going to be successful or not. And number one, and I go over this all the time, but it's lack of football intelligence. Look, you could be the most skilled player, but if you don't know when to take a man one-on-one or pass, you're going to fail. If you don't know when to speed up the play, slow it down, what position to be in, all of these different things that require football intelligence, then it doesn't really matter how good you are. You are going to miss something. There are players that have been not as skilled as others, but have made it way further because they were intelligent, because they knew where to be, they knew what to do, they knew when to pass, they knew when to fill up a certain space, when to make a run in this direction, when to play quicker, when to play slower. They knew when to shoot versus pass, dribble, hold the ball. They knew all of these things because they had a high level of football intelligence. And not a lot of players think about this, but this is something you want to deliberately train. Train in game scenarios so that you can react in game situations in the best way possible. You have to be training this. You could have the quickest feet on your team, the most skill on your team, the best shot on your team, but without the intelligence, you're not going to be able to use those abilities to your best ability because you won't know when to use them. You won't know when it's appropriate. You won't know how to fashion chances or the opportunities to use them correctly. So make sure you're working on that intelligence. That's going to be it for this video, guys. I want to make this very succinct and very quick. Remember, this is not to discourage. This is just to give you some awareness of the realities of what you need to do and what you need to avoid if you want to move up higher levels. If you want to see the full video I did on this, which is about 15 minutes long, where it goes in more depth, I will link that down below if you want to see that. But that's going to be it for this one, just to give you that quick advice that you can take moving forward, and I will see you in the next video.